Welcome to our show, Hong Kong Brief. Today, we have an exciting lineup of news stories to keep you informed and entertained. First up, Chinese authorities are planning to cap salaries at state-backed financial institutions, a move that could alienate staff and stifle innovation, according to Breakingviews. This crackdown on banker pay might end up being a Pyrrhic victory for China. Stay tuned for more on this developing story. Next, Hong Kong stocks have hit a 3-month low amid escalating trade tensions between China and the European Union. The Hang Seng Index dropped 1.2% to 17,590.04, and the Shanghai Composite Index also saw a decline. We'll delve into how this trade row could impact the market further and what it means for investors. Lastly, HK Express is under scrutiny after 2 visually impaired passengers were removed from a flight. This incident has sparked outrage and raised questions about the rights of disabled passengers in Hong Kong. We'll take a closer look at the airline's policies and what changes might be on the horizon. Please stay tuned for the detailed coverage. Reuters Breakingviews: state-backed financial firms in China are facing a significant shift as authorities plan to cap salaries at around $400,000, reversing 2 decades of reforms that linked pay to performance. This move is expected to alienate staff, stifle innovation, and hinder Beijing's ambition to create world-class investment banks. The financial sector has already been hit by a slump in deal-making, with annual fees from Chinese clients to investment banks halving between 2021 and 2023. The new salary restrictions appear permanent and counterproductive, likely preventing Chinese firms from competing globally for top talent. CITIC Securities, for instance, has already ordered pay cuts for over 100 bankers at its Hong Kong subsidiary. These measures risk driving skilled employees to other sectors or hedge funds, fostering more bureaucratic institutions with little benefit. The pay cap would have saved CITIC a mere 0.3% of its compensation bill last year, suggesting the policy's limited efficacy. South China Morning Post: Hong Kong stocks are teetering near 3-month lows due to escalating trade tensions between China and the European Union over tariffs on electric vehicles. The Hang Seng Index fell 1.2% to 17,590.04, potentially reaching its lowest close since April 25. The trade row has also affected the Hang Seng Tech Index and the Shanghai Composite Index. EU Ambassador Jorge Toledo criticized China for complicating deeper ties and tarnishing its image in Europe due to actions related to the Ukraine war. Major decliners included Orient Overseas International, Mingyou, and Longfor Group. Investors are overlooking the likelihood of lower U.S. interest rates amid labor market weakness, focusing instead on the Communist Party's upcoming third plenary session, which is expected to outline key economic reforms for the next 5 to 10 years. Other major Asian markets also saw declines, with Japan's Nikkei 225, Australia's S&P ASX 200, and South Korea's Kospi all experiencing losses. South China Morning Post: HK Express, the budget wing of Cathay Pacific Airways, faced controversy after 2 visually impaired passengers were reportedly forced off a flight, sparking outrage from a campaign group for the blind. The airline denied forcible removal, stating the decision stemmed from differing assessments by ground staff and cabin crew on whether the men could travel without a companion. This incident is not isolated. Visually impaired passengers have previously faced obstacles when boarding flights in Hong Kong. The Equal Opportunities Commission and Civil Aviation Department have published guidelines to improve air travel accessibility for disabled passengers. These include not refusing reservations based on disability, except for safety reasons, and ensuring passengers who are not self-reliant are accompanied. Visually impaired passengers are advised to notify airlines of their needs in advance and may require medical clearance for travel. Guide dogs are allowed on board with prior notification and necessary documentation. Airlines offer various support services, such as escort services and individual safety briefings, though language barriers can pose challenges. The Blind Union emphasizes the importance of respecting visually impaired individuals' independence and ability to travel alone. South China Morning Post, Coleman Wong Chuklam, a rising star in Hong Kong tennis, is on the cusp of breaking into the main draw of Grand Slam tournaments, having already made landmark appearances in the Wimbledon and French Open preliminary rounds. Despite a recent defeat in the Wimbledon qualifiers, Wong remains optimistic and driven, buoyed by the support of Hong Kong fans who cheered him on in London. His journey is historic, being the city's first representative at Wimbledon in 70 years and having previously debuted in the French Open qualifiers. Wong's ambition is to reach the top 100 rankings by the end of the year, with plans to compete in the Infosys Hall of Fame Open next. Off the court, he finds solace in his relationships, dating Filipino tennis player Alexandra Ila and befriending South Korean player Nam Ji-sung, which helps him navigate the often solitary world of singles tennis. Wong, who has a background in doubles with major wins at the Australian Open and US Open during his junior career, is now focused on excelling as a singles player. South China Morning Post, the looming UK general election, with the Labour Party's Keir Starmer poised to become the new Prime Minister, has introduced uncertainty into the prime property market in central London. According to Savills, this has resulted in a cautious approach among prime buyers, leading to a 0.4% drop in prices in the second quarter compared to the first quarter, and a 0.9% decline year-on-year. The potential introduction of a value-added tax, VAT, on private school fees by the new government could significantly impact Hong Kongers who send their children to study in the UK. The broader property market beyond London also saw declines, with prices dropping 0.4% for the quarter and 2.7% for the year. Interest rates are another factor contributing to the hesitance among potential buyers, as many are waiting for a drop in rates before making investments. The proposed VAT on private school fees is part of a broader tax policy overhaul, which includes changes to the non-domiciled tax scheme affecting those living in the UK but not considered residents. This could lead to increased demand and prices for homes near prestigious state schools. South China Morning Post, online scams in Hong Kong have seen a slight increase in number but a significant rise in financial losses, with a 37% jump to 2.2 billion Hong Kong dollars in the first 5 months of the year. Police have handled 13,097 online fraud reports, up by 113 cases compared to the same period last year, with major losses attributed to deepfake scams involving AI technology. These scams have targeted employees at multinational firms, leading to substantial financial transfers based on manipulated voices and images. Investment scams remain the most costly, with 1,503 victims losing 915 million Hong Kong dollars. Other types of scams, such as internet shopping scams, have also seen significant increases in losses, despite a minimal rise in case numbers. However, losses from employment, romance, and email scams have decreased. The police are actively working with local and international agencies to combat online deception, employing tools like the Scammeter search engine to help the public identify suspicious activities. The force also collaborates with financial institutions and communication authorities to enhance security and tackle cybercriminal activities. South China Morning Post. Head coach Andrew Wright has set his sights on the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, acknowledging that Hong Kong triathlete Jason Ng's chances of winning a medal in Paris are slim. Ng, who qualified for the Games only 6 weeks ago, is expected to surpass the 33rd place finish of Oscar Coggins from Tokyo. Wright's focus is on establishing a high-performance environment within Hong Kong's triathlon program, a significant shift from the previous lack of serious qualification efforts. Ng is currently training at altitude in St. Moritz, Switzerland, alongside teammates Robin Elg, Mark Yu Xinghim, and Bailey Brown. Wright emphasizes the importance of replicating training performances under high-pressure conditions and is cautious about altering Eng's training despite potential changes to the Olympic race format. Wright's transparent approach in long-term planning aim to position Hong Kong triathletes for greater success in future Olympic cycles. South China Morning Post. Morgan Stanley strategist Jonathan Garner's January 2021 downgrade of China stocks was prophetic, as the market peaked and then crashed, entering a 3-year slump. China's onshore stock market capitalization has dropped by over a third to $8.4 trillion, less than the combined worth of Nvidia, Microsoft, and Apple. Garner, a veteran analyst, believes the bear market will persist due to weak economic growth and corporate earnings. Despite Beijing's bold measures to stabilize the market, including direct interventions and crackdowns on short sellers, investor confidence remains low. The MSCI China Index has plummeted 55% from its February 2021 high, and China's weighting in the MSCI Emerging Markets Index has significantly decreased. Garner suggests that Japan and India, both in secular bull markets, are more attractive investment destinations, with strong earnings growth and active domestic investors driving their markets. South China Morning Post. The London Metal Exchange, LME, has a strategic plan to authorize a new warehouse in Hong Kong, enhancing its global storage network and facilitating the physical exchange of metals like aluminum and zinc between mainland China and the rest of the world. This move is crucial given China's status as the world's largest importer of raw commodities. The LME does not own or operate these warehouses but authorizes third-party operators. Hong Kong, with its robust logistics and financial infrastructure, is an ideal location for this initiative, which is expected to cover about 10,000 square meters. The plan aligns with the city's goal of economic integration into the Greater Bay Area and could boost metals pricing and arbitrage opportunities. The Hong Kong government, being the largest shareholder of HKEX, is well positioned to support this promising venture by addressing legal, tax, and land allocation issues. South China Morning Post. The recent release of International Baccalaureate (IB) and upcoming Diploma of Secondary Education (DSE) test scores in Hong Kong has stirred a whirlwind of emotions among students and parents. While these scores are often seen as pivotal, it's crucial to remember that they don't define one's identity or future success. The Hong Kong education system, with its focus on standardized testing, has fostered a competitive atmosphere where winning seems paramount. This has inadvertently led to a reliance on after-school tutorials and test prep courses, which often reflect socioeconomic disparities. The IB program, with its selective nature and higher fees, tends to favor students from resourceful backgrounds. The system's emphasis on test scores has overshadowed the broader goal of nurturing critical thinking and holistic learning. The recent IB cheating scandal underscores the pressure students face. As we move forward, it's essential to shift the focus from mere test scores to continuous learning and personal growth. Bloomberg, hedge funds that bet against Tesla Incorporated found themselves in a precarious position as the electric vehicle maker's recent vehicle sales results exceeded expectations, triggering a significant share price rally. By the end of June, about 18% of the hedge funds tracked by Hazeltree had short positions on Tesla, the highest in over a year. These contrarian bets now threaten to incur substantial losses as Tesla's share price soared by 40% since early June. Analysts like Seth Goldstein from Morningstar Incorporated predict that Tesla will see profit growth next year, driven by lower production and raw material costs. However, the EV market remains fraught with uncertainties, from tariff wars to political dynamics, such as Donald Trump's stance on battery-powered vehicles. Internal disruptions at Tesla, including job cuts and slow ramp-up of the Cybertruck, add to the complexity. Despite the challenges, some investors believe that a Trump presidency could benefit Tesla due to potential tariffs on Chinese competitors. The broader EV market, however, faces skepticism, with many investors retreating from green stocks and expecting further volatility and potential bankruptcies among smaller EV startups. South China Morning Post: as Hong Kong faces persistently hot weather, residents eager to maintain their fitness routines must navigate the challenges of exercising safely in high temperatures. According to Lobo Louis Hungtak from the Education University of Hong Kong, exercising in the heat generates significant body heat, which can lead to health risks like heat stroke, especially for vulnerable groups such as the elderly and those with cardiovascular issues. Family doctor Edward Lam Wingwa recommends indoor activities during the summer, as air-conditioned environments provide a safer setting. For those who prefer outdoor exercise, it's advised to schedule activities in the cooler hours, wear breathable clothing, and stay hydrated. Proper hydration is crucial, with recommendations to drink 500 milliliters to 1 liter of water for every half hour of exercise. Hiking, a popular activity, requires careful planning to ensure routes with adequate shade and water access. Veteran mountaineers suggest starting early in the morning or late in the evening to avoid peak heat and carrying a manageable amount of water to prevent heat exhaustion. South China Morning Post: the recent democratic spectacles in the United Kingdom and France, coupled with the ongoing democratic stress test in the United States, have illuminated both the virtues and the pitfalls of democratic systems. Observing from Hong Kong, where a patriotic filter has been applied to legislative council elections, the contrast is stark. The UK election saw Rishi Sunak, the outgoing Prime Minister, humbly accepting his government's failings, a spectacle possible only in a democracy. The Conservative Party suffered a historic defeat, dropping from 372 to 121 seats, while Labour doubled its seats to 412, despite a mere 2% increase in voter support. The UK's first-past-the-post system allowed Labour to win 64% of the seats with just 34% of the votes, highlighting the quirks of democratic systems. The Green Party and Nigel Farage's Reform UK Party also experienced dramatic outcomes due to this system. The election results serve as a reminder that good governance relies more on the integrity of leaders than on the political system itself, and that effective ways of gauging public opinion are crucial, even in the absence of elections. Telegraph: Knightsbridge, once a beacon of middle-class aspiration, now seems to be losing its luster, but for the super-rich, it remains a prime destination. The Emery, a new all-suite hotel in Knightsbridge, epitomizes this exclusive appeal, with starting rates at £1,620 a night. Guests are treated to luxuries like a £150,000 BMW i7 electric car for transportation and a courtyard adorned with Grecian sculptures. The hotel features a rooftop bar with panoramic views of Hyde Park and a restaurant by Jean-Georges Vondrichten offering a fusion of farm-to-table, plant-based, and Latin cuisine. The wellness space, run in partnership with Gwyneth Paltrow's personal trainer Tracy Anderson, offers cutting-edge fitness classes and luxurious spa treatments. Each suite, designed by world-renowned artists, provides an unparalleled experience, with amenities like champagne in an egg-shaped bath overlooking Hyde Park. Despite the opulence, the contrast with the bustling, less glamorous parts of Knightsbridge is stark, making the Emery a sanctuary for those who can afford it. South China Morning Post: the scorching summer heat in Hong Kong has impacted attendance at the Inflatable Wonders art exhibition, which has also faced online mockery. Despite the controversy between the organizers and the artist Joanne, who criticized the ugly pieces, visitors like Christina Tay Konawa found the exhibition innovative and fun. The show features large-scale inflatable replicas of landmarks like Stonehenge, Giza pyramids, and the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but the lack of shade and extreme temperatures have deterred many. Some visitors, like Maggie Wong from Canada, noted that shaded areas would have improved the experience. The exhibition is part of Summerfest at Central, running from July 5 to August 11 at the Central Harbourfront event space. The organizers, Central Venue Management, CVM, claimed that Joanne had acknowledged the exhibition's inspiration from her work and had backed the concept, despite her later objections. The event space, lacking in shade and with installations in direct sunlight, struggled to attract visitors, highlighting the challenges of outdoor exhibitions in extreme weather conditions. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
News breaks, buzz the ground, stories spin, walls come down, voices merge in the sound, faces mix in the crowd, broadcasters paint the scene, world events on our screen, every link a different theme, words collide in the stream, 6 degrees connect the dots, background stories more than us. The voices rise aloft. Truth unveils in every spot. Cultures clash across the globe. Spin the threads in a strobe. Every story wears a robe. Truth and lies in their code. Journalists dig real deep. Secrets out, they don't sleep. Every angle they will keep. In the news we take a leap. New perspectives day by day. Hidden truths come to play. In the background shades of